So in our cooking videos, you know that typically we like to cook things that we either kill, catch, or grow ourselves. Today we're doing something a little bit different. For those of you that don't know, I'm in Oklahoma, completely landlocked state with really no good options for great Cajun food. But if there's one thing that this Oklahoma boy loves, it's Cajun food. So today we're gonna get started making some boudin. But I do things a little bit differently. Here's the things you're gonna need. A good hunk of pork, 2 yellow onions, long grain white rice, 4 jalapenos, a stalk of celery, 3 bundles of green onion, 1 bundle of regular parsley, 2 green bell peppers, 1 package of frozen shrimp, 1 tub of chicken liver, minced garlic, about 1 cup of vegetable oil, about 1 cup of flour, black pepper, cayenne pepper, salt, crushed red pepper flakes, and your favorite knife from Rebec's Cutlery. So one thing I forgot to mention was the casings. The casings that we're going to be using today are natural hog casings. The ones that we buy, you get them from Cabela's. They take about 30 minutes to soak. After a good 30 minutes, we soak them one more time for 30 minutes, and then they're ready to be stuffed. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our casings out and get them in some warm water, start getting them soaking. We're going to take our pork and put it fat side down into our pot that is now on a low-medium heat. Next thing we're going to do is start making a roux. I'm not going to show you how to make a roux in this video right now. If that's something you would like us to do, let me know down in the comments below. But there's plenty of great tutorials on YouTube for that. What we are going to do though is get all of our Cajun Trinity here rough chopped up. Green bell pepper, yellow onion, and celery. Once your roux is ready, you can add the Cajun Trinity to the roux. Now we're going to let our Cajun Trinity sweat down for just a few minutes. While that's happening, we're going to go ahead and chop up the rest of our celery, our green bell pepper, our yellow onion, half of our green onions, a fistful of parsley, and our jalapenos, and we'll add them all to the pot with the pork. Now for your seasonings, this is all going to be what you like to taste. And here's the thing, if you'll go light at the beginning, you can put more in towards the end. That way you don't over season it. First thing that's going in for the seasonings is going to be minced garlic. And I use a pretty good, we're a garlicky family. I use a pretty good heaping tablespoon of garlic. Okay, we'll use about the equivalent of like half of a tablespoon full of crushed red pepper flakes. Same with our cayenne pepper. Tablespoon of black pepper. And for salt, we're gonna use about half of a tablespoon. All right, so now we're gonna pour our roux mixture down into this big pot with all of our ingredients, our pork and all the vegetables. And then we're going to add just enough water to cover up the pork. Just about like so. We're going to give it a good mix. And then we're going to come back here in about an hour and we're going to check on it, make sure we don't need to add any more water. But this is going to need to cook for at least 3 hours. Okay, it's been a little over an hour and a half now. And we're going to check on this. The lens is probably going to get all steamy. But here we go. And it is looking really good. Yeah, I told you it's going to get a little steamy. Let's go like that. And everything's cooking down nicely. As you can imagine, it smells pretty much like gumbo in here. But this is the pork. We'll test to see how tender it is. It's getting there. I can push into it pretty easily, but we've still got at least an hour and a half to go before that gets to where that bone just basically, with little effort, will pull right out of it. So, I'm going to put the top back on it, let her keep cooking. Welcome to Cooking in Oklahoma, where when you start cooking, the flies start swarming. I don't know what is up with all these freaking flies, but they're everywhere. Anyways, we need to get some rice going. Right now, we're going to start off with 3 cups of rice, and we'll go from there. Now it's time to go ahead and start peeling the shrimp, getting it ready to throw in with the pork and everything else. Now it's time to put the shrimp in with the pork. We're going to be checking it here shortly. We just want to go ahead and let this start cooking, getting all the flavors in there, and let's go. Alright, so now while our rice is cooking and while the shrimp is getting good and cooked, we're going to go ahead and take the rest of our green onions and we're going to get them all chopped up. Now that we have our green onion chopped up, we're gonna go ahead and take off another pretty good whack of our parsley. Parsley has a very strong flavor, so we're not gonna be using this whole thing. We'll use the rest of it for later though. Once again, just like the green onion, we're just gonna get it good and chopped up. It doesn't have to be too fine. From here, we're gonna go ahead and take a look inside the pot, see how the shrimp and everything's turning out. Right, everything's looking pretty stinking good. All right, time to see if we can pull the bone out of the pork. Oh, yeah, that's all that's left. Oh, please don't splash and get all over me. Look at that. Hold on, hold on. I promise, it's falling off the bone. As you can see, that's all that's left on the bone. Let's bring this over here. Now this is friggin' hot because I just pulled it out of the pot, as you can see, but that's just falling right off the bone. All the other meat just fell off and stayed in the pot, so that's okay. It's what we want ultimately. It's gonna go back in the pot for now. And we're just gonna make sure we get all the meat that we can off of this. And then we'll be ready to go to the next step. All right, now that we got all the meat off the bone and back into the pot, we're gonna set this bone in the sink to cool off. I'm gonna give it to the dogs because they'll enjoy that. I like to take a little bit of that broth and mix it in with my rice. I don't know that it's something that's needed, it's just something I like to do. But don't dump out the rest of the broth because we're gonna need it for other dishes, and we're gonna need it when we start stuffing this boudin. At this point, we can go ahead and strain everything using a large strainer in a bowl. That way the meat is grind ready and the broth is easy to get to when it's time to mix it back into the boudin to get that perfect sticky texture. Typically this is a lot easier to do with two people. You can have one person scooping while the other's pushing, but it's okay. I've got my KitchenAid right here with the grinder attachment. For my grinder, I'm actually using the biggest one that I have. It's a very coarse, it's not very fine for this first grind here. Okay, so for this next part, we got to get all of our ground up. Really, it's ground up gumbo, but it's going to be our boudin. Oh, that's so good. And then all of our rice, we're gonna get it mixed in there. And now we're gonna mix that all really well together. All right, so there is a little bit of a consistency thing that we're looking for here. We want to be able to get this to ball up without it just kind of falling apart like that. I gotta stop doing that because that is so good. But anyways, we want it kind of sticky, right? And the more we mix it, kind of the drier it's going to get. So you don't want it too dry, you don't want it too wet, but we want it a little bit more moist than that. So we're just going to ladle out a few scoops of this juice that was left over. We're going to get it good mixed in there. Now that's about the consistency I like right there. That is perfect. Now it's time to put the sausage casings on the grinder. Or I guess now, well, it's our sausage stuffer, but so I'm gonna go nice and slow starting out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let this boudin start to come out, and so I can get all the air out of here. And that right there, that juice that you see coming out is boudin juice. Right there. Just a little bit of boudin's coming out right there. So we're gonna pull our sleeve back down. And we're going to tie off the end. Just like that right there. Slide that back up, and here we go. Just about like so. I always like to leave just a little bit of extra here at the end. If I'm just going to do it in one big link like that, when I'm doing it by myself, it's easier to do it in one big link and then roll it out as I want it. So you're going to take the approximate length that you want each one. I usually just hold up the Y symbol like that and just kind of measure it out like that. And I'll give the first one 3 or 4 spins. And then I do the same thing to the next one, just about like so, except this time I spin it backwards. And then the next one, same thing, and then I spin it forwards. Just about like so. And then this last one, obviously, I gotta spin it backwards. And then I'll go ahead and tie it off. Just like that. We still got a whole lot of boudin to make, so I'm gonna have Michelle come over here and help me out for just a little bit, and we're gonna get this knocked out. Here we go. Before we wrap this up, I just want to say that I'm not Cajun, I wasn't raised Cajun, and I'm not trying to do a disservice to Cajun food. If I did something wrong along the way, let me know down in the comments below, because I would love to know how to make this recipe even better. Now, I will say making boudin like this is definitely a lengthy process. All in all, we spent close to 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours from start to finish. But the end result, absolutely worth it. It turned out so stinking good. Before you cook it, I recommend letting it rest in the fridge for at least a couple hours. The ones that you're not going to be cooking right away, just vacuum seal them and freeze them. They'll stay good for a long time. When it comes to cooking, my favorite way is to throw it on the grill or on the smoker and take it nice and slow and let that flavor build. This video was a little different from me. Normally, I'm cooking something I've hunted, caught, or grown myself. This time, everything was store-bought, but it was still a blast to cook and even better to eat. And if you liked today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that bell icon so that you'll be notified the next time that we upload more content. Until next time, y'all stay safe.